Welcome to the Good Karma Sportfishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet.
And welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Van Fleet. Well, happy Thanksgiving, Captain Ryan.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Yay!
It's going to be a lobster and stone crab Thanksgiving at the Van Fleet household.
And shrimp spicy cheese dip that is like calorie-free. It's all good.
I know. I'm not really a big fan of turkey, so I've never happened.
And I remember when we met and you told me that, I was like, yes, because I don't really like it either.
Yeah, I never really liked turkey, and I just liked all the sides, and turkey and then I have to smother with dressing to make it taste good for me.
And I don't even like any of that. It's all about the Jell-O and the Cool Whip, which I can eat plenty of now, so It's not any big deal. As an adult, you can have as much Jell-O and Cool Whip as you want, and you should definitely have sugar-free Jell-O and sugar-free Cool Whip and save on the sugar.
Yeah, so I got a pile of Stonies I'm going to eat.
Yes, so shout out to Ernie for that.
Yeah,
That's
shout
awesome.
out to my buddy Ernie.
So we are going to talk about a pretty big word today on the podcast, and it's a word that I don't believe you and I, in our over 2 years of podcasting together, have had a discussion about, and it keeps popping up. It's the craziest thing, and I always believe and know that when something keeps popping up, it's meant to be shared, it's meant to be thought about more, it's meant to be discussed, and that word is failure. Captain Ryan?
Failure. Ugh. It's everybody interprets failure in different ways.
Mm-hmm. And to me, failure is not taking action. To me, that's failure. Really, when you don't take action and you don't do something, that is failure. You're not even giving yourself a chance.
Right.
So how this started popping up was when I interviewed Jamie and Joshua McNew, who own Jake Kindred here in the Keys. It's a hair salon, and it's where I get my hair cut. Jamie cuts my hair. And if you follow me, you know I have been writing more for our local paper, which is in print and online, called Upper Keys Weekly. And a few months ago, I started picking up doing interviews, which Jim, the editor, had asked me if I wanted to pick up some extra articles, and he needed some help with interviews. So anywho, so I interviewed Jamie and Josh, and they were sharing their story, and it was kind of similar in the way of Ryan and I's from 2009 in that failure wasn't an option, and that's what she said. Josh had bought the business right after Irma, which, if anyone knows what happened to us here in South Florida and the Keys, Hurricane Irma really, really crushed us, to be honest. And here is someone buying a business, right? Like right after this major hurricane that was devastating to our community. And then Jamie ended up deciding to quit her very good job to, work with him side by side. And she just said, failure wasn't an option. And it's just so true. And that's how we felt when we moved down here and started over from scratch. We didn't talk about failure. We just knew that we were hard workers and we had huge faith in ourselves and in God, and we would figure it out. We never talked about failure. It just wasn't one of those things.
It never really it didn't come up at all, actually.
Yeah. If anything, it came up with where we could feel energy from other people.
Right.
And then we managed, Ryan and I would talk about that in terms of them and either like cut ties with them or speak to them less is really how we had to manage that. But we didn't have that as fear between us. We just rolled up our sleeves and kept going, taking action. And, not every day was sunshine and rainbows, as I say at the beginning of my podcast intro, but we just accepted that. Like, we just accepted that, and we just kept going, and we never really thought about failure. It wasn't an option.
No, it wasn't. And a lot of people, a lot of people have short-term memories. We went through, when we came down here, this place was a ghost town.
Oh my gosh.
The recession, the real estate market crash, and a lot of, everybody tends to have short-term memories, and they don't remember that. But, that's when I started my business, was during the first big recession. So the Keys was nothing like, it's crazy how it's rebounded and times have changed, but in just a short period of time. But this place was a ghost town. So a lot of business. We had the oil spill happened around the same time.
Yep.
That scared everybody away. The media really ripped on the Keys with that. So, and along with Irma, it's like everybody said the Keys was no more. It was really, the media really went after it. So, and it really hurt us. So
yeah, the Gulf spill. Yeah,
the Gulf spill. Then you had Irma, and you had all that stuff to it. So yeah, it was just failure wasn't an option.
Yeah, but where I started to think about it is, if you would have, let's say, shared your dream, like I wasn't on board, let's say, right? I could have easily poked a gazillion holes in it because, number one, we were already in our mid-30s.
Yep.
You didn't know how to sport fish. You were fishing on, rivers and lakes up in the Midwest.
No idea.
No clue. We didn't own a boat. You didn't have family that was in the business. And we'd never even been here, and we didn't have any money. And now we were like starting something from scratch again, right after a recession, in the sport fishing capital of the world, like the most competitive, cutthroat place in one of the craziest business models you can possibly imagine. People have no friggin' clue. And I could have said no. I could have said, no, we're going to fail. Like, doesn't make sense. This is stupid. Like, get a real job. Do something else. Right? But it wasn't. We just kept going.
Yeah, we just did it.
I know. Call us crazy, I guess. But it kind of came to light yesterday when I had a conversation with a very close friend of mine who I love with all my heart. So this is nothing negative about the conversation at all, but it really made me bring it full circle again. I was like, okay, this keeps popping up as a topic. And she had said something to me, asking me a question about failure. And my soul was like, yeah, no, like I don't fail. Like this is not an option. And then she was talking about a friend of hers and a business idea. And I was like, how does anyone know, right? You really don't know until you try. You don't know until you try. And failure is not trying. Failure is not giving it a shot. We have one life to live, basically. Let's put it that way. And if you don't try things and take action and work towards something, then you have no idea. And that's really the ultimate failure. That's the ultimate failure.
That's the ultimate failure.
Because then you live your life with regrets. So if you had this dream in your heart to be a charter boat captain, and then you never did it, and then all of a sudden you're 85 years old, that would be the failure. Yeah.
And I just went fishing. I mean, I had those days. I'd have days where I'd be like, oh my gosh, I think I would fail. But I didn't really fail because I caught fish. So,
when you went fishing with, like, what do you mean?
Like when I started my business.
Right. When you just...
Yeah.
And you had lots of people make comments, and you didn't even care.
And I didn't even care. I just was like, yeah, I'm just going to go fishing, and then I would be coming back to the dock, and then the other guides would be like, well, how'd you do that? Like I would pull up, and then there was a sporty that used to sit next to me at the marina years ago, and he's like, how did you catch those fish today? And I would be like, I just went fishing, man. I just kind of, I just knew I set up here and figured it out. And he looked at me like I was like absolutely insane because nobody else caught any fish. And then I was like, I'm not like, then I looked at it in a different way. So I looked at it from a science point of view. And I know I talked about that a lot. And a lot of people talked to me about it, about science and how I approach fish. And I just, hey, it's nature. So that's the way I look at it. So,
it's interesting because often, and we've kind of really proven this, it's something in hindsight, I wish actually we'd documented, but how many times someone comes on a charter with super high expectations and they're antsy, impatient, all the things, and then those are the trips that are the hardest in terms of catching fish, right?
Yeah, the hardest trips.
It's kind of like they're manifesting failure.
Yeah, they want bad things to happen to them.
Really, when you think about it, they're manifesting failure instead of just going with the flow, having a fun time, not putting like grandiose expectations out there, not looking at their watch, looking at the other person. I hear all the stories. Don't kid yourself. I know, I hear it. I've seen it myself because remember, I used to be the mate. So I see it. I get it. And that is kind of setting yourself up for failure on a fishing charter, right?
It is, especially with the new one. Like, it's interesting. And the charter boat fishing world's changed a lot as far as the clientele goes too, and demands and stuff. And I'm not going to get into that today, but the worst
for new clients, your existing clients.
My existing clients, my existing clients that have been fishing with me for a long time get it. And they've seen my changes over the years as far as how I've had to learn to adapt to the fishery to make it more successful for them because they see changes. Mm-hmm. And then I teach them the changes and why I'm doing things differently, and then they get it. So it's just a lot of the new people I'm seeing right now just
yeah. So it's important to know that when you do something in your life, take out the time. Take out the how is this going to happen, or when is it going to happen? When's the fish going to jump? Like, just go with the flow and do it. Like, just have fun. Just do what Captain Ryan says to do. If he says reel the fish in, right? Yep. Just do the action and be like in a positive place. And then you won't have the failure. Like, it just doesn't happen, people. Like, you're not bringing it to you if it's not something that you're thinking about. You're just doing the positive thing and working towards success. I mean, it's really simple, but people have a hard time doing it. It's hard. It is really simple. Right. It was simple for us. Like, I never even questioned failure. Like, it just wasn't a thing. And even as we pivot and change and do stuff all the time, I don't think, what if I fail? Now, if I sat here like an idiot and made my human brain continue to think that way, sure. But I don't do that, and you don't either.
No, I just, every day I work on just saying, hey, how can I be better? How can I be better?
How can you be better?
Every day.
You do. You've always done that. Oh my gosh, always.
Every morning I get up, and that's what I do. It's not like...
That's probably your mantra, what you have always done that. Yep. You really have.
Every day. And then the hardest part for me is I just can't control the outer, the outside things.
Right. So but you can do your best to control the inside.
But I can control the inside.
And then just let go of the outside because you can't control it. I mean, it goes back to the serenity prayer. I mean...
Yep. That's it.
Let's be real, people. Like, you can only control what you can control.
I know. I was like, I had to go the other day. We're grouper fishing, and I was like, well, the groupers are going to bite here at this time, and they did. They bit at the exact time I told the guys. They looked at me like I was crazy, but they started biting, and I said we're going to get 2 bites, and we did get 2 bites, and one was eaten by a shark, and the other one, the guys just weren't quick enough to get on the rod, and they rocked them up, and that was it. So we didn't get the fish.
So you couldn't control that, but you did your best to control what you could up until that point.
Yep.
So.
But I knew when we were going to get the bites, I did everything right, and nothing wrong. It's just like, hey, it's like wahoo fishing. I say they're going to bite here and there. They bite, but I tell the client, hey, the fish still has to stay on the hook, and he still has to get hit with the gaff and come in the boat. We get the bites, and sometimes they stay on the hook, and sometimes they fall off the gaff. So,
this is why I laugh, when anyone's like, "Oh, it's so easy.
It's so easy.
Why is living the dream?" Yeah, right.
Oh God, yeah, no. And then sometimes it just haunts me, and I just I've had to learn to shake that because
You've gotten better.
I've gotten better at it because certain things would haunt me, and and you just can't shake things. So, and it is what it is. So I've just learned too that I've tried to change for people over the years, and it's just best just to be who I am. And I'm a very aggressive fisherman when it comes to putting clients on fish. I'm laid back, but when it comes time to go to work, it's time to go to work. So Ernie one of my buddies, he's like, it's comes from the hard work growing up, you're always trying to work and get better, and in athletic sports, it's the same drive.
Right.
So always try to improve your technique.
True. Very true. So so that's kind of it for the day. We were talking about this, and we thought that we would make this our topic heading into the new month as people are thinking about the end of the year and maybe working on their businesses and their lives. And there's a lot going on out there. So I definitely am sending everyone that's going through changes. I actually think this year has probably been a lot harder for people than last year because it's kind of like the aftermath of COVID. Like it's this aftermath of what happens, right? As
the dust settles.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. As the dust settles. Thank you so much for that. And so we've all been there. I mean, everyone kind of knows that we've had mechanical issues in Ryan's arm, and it's just been one of those years for lots of people. And so on this Thanksgiving, just be grateful for what you do have. I do believe that even if things are really, really, really dark for you, there's something to be grateful for. So if you have to be grateful for nachos and cheese, like Ryan was when we got laid off because he couldn't think of anything else, then be grateful for nachos and cheese.
Yep, nachos and cheese.
Nachos and cheese. And be grateful for at least like that you had some nachos and cheese, or you had a beer or something. I don't know. You have a cute dog and you can give it a hug, like whatever.
Just be grateful
for that. Think of something. So Ryan, you have that captain's program. You want to talk about that really quick?
Yeah, we put together a captain's program. This is a next level course. There's a lot to it. Basically, just to sum it up, if you're looking to start a business or an existing captain that wants to get there quickly, then this is a program for you. Now, it is an investment, and so there's more than I can talk about.
Yep. So people should just email Ryan, goodkarmaryan@gmail.com. And then I'm in the middle of launching a 6-week group coaching program that kicks off November 30th in Beyond Basic. And definitely reach out to me. And in my podcast, there will be information in the show notes if you're listening to the Good Karma Success Coach. So we'll just keep that tight. But we have lots of things going on so we can help others in their journey as we're getting close to 2022. Let's do it now, people. Let's get going now. Don't think about failure. Think about success, and you will achieve it as well. So that's all I got. Thank you for listening.
That's it. That's all I got, guys. You can follow me on Instagram at goodkarma sportfishing _FL and you can find Melinda at
Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. On Instagram, it's Melinda _Van Fleet. So,
that's it, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.
Thanks for listening.